Welcome to the show. This is No Interference. We are your host, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. It is week 8 of the NFL season. Um, as usual, we're diving right into it. Unless y'all got any intro thoughts while I pull up the games.
intro intro thoughts to this week.
I don't know, whatever's on your mind.
No, 50-50 year on the fantasy, half right, half wrong. 50-50. Actually, it's more like 0-100 on the betting this year. I don't think I've won. I think I'm like 0-30 on my bets. I really shouldn't legally be allowed to give people advice.
Yeah, and I can honestly say I haven't placed a single bet
The
this
one,
year.
the one of the people actually following our live shows is like putting all of their like life's savings on like my picks, and they've lost everything. I've lost everything.
I would hope not. And if they do, it's on the. Maybe we should put a disclaimer though, just in case.
Honestly, we probably should put a disclaimer. I think you're
Ugh,
supposed to, aren't you?
I don't know. Who
I don't know.
cares?
That's my thoughts.
I
If you're taking advice off of a YouTube show,
Well, hey. I take a lot of advice off social media and YouTube.
I mean, I can honestly say I haven't placed a single sporting bet this football season, but I do give my coworkers uh like parlays, and they've hit on a couple of them.
Oh well, maybe you should start taking your advice.
Maybe. All right. Well, let's talk about Thursday night football. This is one where I actually said Bills. I think we both agreed Bills would win, but Bucks would cover. So hey, there's some good advice for you right there. You could have made your money right there, then and there. Um, I'm pretty sure Bills were 9.5 point favorites, and they won by 6. So good on the Bucks. It was not the most entertaining game in the world. Baker Mayfield threw for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, but it was a pretty pedestrian effort. And Josh Allen kind of had his typical Josh Allen game, threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a pick. Um, Neither team's rushing attack really did anything. Um, the interesting part of this game, at least for me, I actually stayed up and watched it because I had Baker and Mike Evans in fantasy. Baker Mayfield throws like a 70-yard Hail Mary at the end of the game, and looks like it would have connected had his receivers actually paid attention to the Hail Mary. Um,
Never the way you want to go
Again,
out.
what?
Never the way you want to go out. Not paying attention.
I mean, depending on the camera angle, who knows how like everything really went down. But to me, it really looked like Chris Godwin had he just got his head around sooner. Like he got it should be get to the end zone and turn around and find the ball. And by the time he like half-heartedly turns around, the ball like it looks like it lands literally right next to him,
Yeah.
and he is open. And that pending an extra point, that's the game winner right there.
Yeah, it's a shame, but
Another game
what
of
are you
the
gonna do?
another game of the Bills not looking overly impressive, but a win is a win nonetheless.
And Baker is apparently playing through injury, but yeah, win is a win. The Bucks still aren't right though. I mean, the Bills aren't right.
Yeah. They need to I mean it wasn't as bad this game. Speaking of I think we were talked about it in the last show. Josh Allen running around too much of the hero ball, and I don't even blame Josh Allen for it. We talked about this last time, and it's maybe I don't even know if I want to say it's by design. I don't know, but it just seems to happen too often where Josh Allen's running around trying to make the big play. And I think we talked about maybe trying to lean on the run more and just taking things underneath. But I mean, if they can still win while trying to make things right, that's always a good thing. It's not
Yeah,
like
you
they're
hope.
it's not like they're 3-4 or 3-5. At least they're 5-3.
Yeah, you hope they get it figured out. I think one is just getting healthy. Um, but I don't know if you get late into the season, seeding on the line, and especially come to playoffs, like they're going to resort back to Josh Allen playing Superman and fighting for every yard. You don't want to Cam Newton him where by his 8th season his body's done, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever you got to do to win.
Yep. Whatever it takes.
But I'll take it. It was an interesting game. I think it was last year. Like every Thursday night football game was a joke, and like I remember every like Friday morning driving to work, they were talking about another Thursday night football snoozer. It seems like it's been a little bit better this year, so I can live with that. And actually, next week is Titans Steelers.
Definitely been more entertaining games than last year. I think every single game on Prime.
Yeah, it's
So
been a little bit better. Still, I don't know. I get it's the AI. AI's making these matchups, but I don't know. For the Bucks end of the things, at least, even though they're 3-4, they're still only one game behind for first place in that NFC South.
yeah.
After the Falcons lost today.
Well, moving on to the 1 o'clock games, we're going to start with Eagles at the at the Commanders. Actually ended up in a bit of a shootout. Eagles win 38-31. Jalen Hurts and Sam Howell both put up 300 yards. Howell almost 400. They both give you 4 touchdowns and 1 turnover apiece, I believe.
2 turnovers
AJ
for the
Brown.
Eagles.
What?
2 turnovers for the Eagles.
Oh, I just meant the quarterbacks.
Oh.
Yeah. And then AJ Brown, just a little bit of history. He broke the record for most consecutive 125 yard receiving games. I think it was Calvin Johnson's record.
He had 6.
Yeah, he's 6 in a row, which is he's on a tear. But being we have 2 Washington and Philadelphia fans, I'll just turn it over to you guys.
This is where it's West Side Story and we both pull out our knives. Well, who do you want to go first, RJ, or do you want
No,
to
you got it.
first? Well,
We'll let the winner go first.
Well, we can both agree that the defenses were atrocious. It was
Despicable.
arguably it had to have been the worst pass defended games of the year. Just man coverages getting torched left and right. I thought on the Eagles end in particular, like I know Washington, let AJ Brown again have a big day, which is probably infuriating after the first loss. But on the Eagles end, just no matter what Washington did, it just seemed like they were open. Sam Howell at one point was like 23 of 25. I think I texted you guys.
Best I saw, he was like 32 with 35 at one point, and then
even then, just ridiculous numbers. And just by the way, Washington's been playing as of late. Sam Howell taking a ton of sacks, the offense not clicking. Just last week, only scoring 7 points. Very surprising. And then the Eagles defense coming off a great week against the greatest show in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins. I was just very surprised it went the way it did. I'm happy we got the W anyways. Jalen Hurts had a really big game. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown showed out again. So
what happened on that Devontae Smith touchdown where he looked like he was open by about 40 yards?
I don't know who was covering Devontae Smith. RJ
Danny.
might know.
That's why I said he was trash.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he was.
Everybody else was running man. He was running zone.
Yeah, he just let Devontae Smith run by him.
He literally was like,
was he like peeking in the backfield or something? Or?
It looked like he was maybe looking at AJ Brown. I don't know. It wasn't. There was no pump fake. There was nothing.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was a play action, so maybe that got him. But it looked like RJ said, he was playing zone and everybody else was playing man.
Yeah, it was bad. That was just the better team won. That's it. was a shootout. Both defenses were poop. Not a lot of pressure on either side. The quarterbacks had time most of the time. And then when there wasn't, Sam Howell was able to step up. That was cool to see. He's trying to. But yeah, they just got to play better.
Yeah, I think it came down.
I mean,
I think overall, honestly, I think if one team would have committed to the run a little bit more early on, they could have slowed the pace of the game down and helped out the defense on their side. Because I thought Washington, when they ran it, Brian Robinson looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, it was 10 of 59.
Yeah.
And then just,
yeah, but he should be running. He should be getting the ball more than 10 times. The enemy is just turning to this pass happy dude. Apparently, he just wants to throw the ball 50 times a game. His play calling has been sus. That's what I'm saying. It's not looking good for him either. I mean, I think there's a good chance that if we don't, get out of this losing streak, get above 500, they'll clean house.
Yeah, I mean, the trade deadline's coming up in a couple days. You mentioned that earlier, that Sweat and Chase
Chase
Young are
Young.
possibly on the trading block. I can't imagine they both would be, but
Well, I mean, I still think there's a chance. If we were winning, they would probably try and re-sign both, just because we don't have a lot of money tied to anybody besides Jonathan Allen and Terry McLaurin. Even Jonathan Allen's contract's coming to an end, and Deron Payne's got a good contract, but that's it. We don't, we don't have to pay Sam Howell for 3 years. There's really nobody else too. It's with money.
yeah, I mean, I get not wanting to put that much money to three players on this at the same, the defensive line, but it's one of the most important positions. So at the same time, I could be like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, if you have the money to do it, but who knows?
Now, if somebody came to me as a Washington GM tomorrow and said, I'll give you like a second for Chase Young, I would take it. I don't know what you think he's worth, but.
Well, I mean, he was defensive rookie of the year, and then he had the knee injury, but didn't really get a full season last year. But this year, since he's been back, he, he's top 5 in pressures, I think, and he missed a game. So he's producing. He's doing what he needs to do. He leads their team in sacks. So
Yeah.
if you get something good for him, then yeah, trade at least one of them. But if they trade Chase Young, there's a good chance that I follow Chase Young wherever team he goes to, and I say F Washington because I'm tired of this.
Why?
Because I got this jersey over here.
Oh,
My
Chase Young jersey. Well, if that's the case, you should have followed RG3 into retirement.
Well, yeah. RG3 kind of did to himself there.
Ooh, shots fired.
Not the initial injury, but
Nope, you said it. He should.
After the fact, he went to Cleveland and got hurt again with his shoulder. Completely different injury too. Hopefully not as a demon.
I wonder where he is.
But and Shanahan's a moron, but it's that simple.
Yeah.
My last thought, I like what I see from Sam Howell. I know he still makes some errors here and there.
We gotta let him develop.
Well, I think with the better O-line, like the pass catchers are there, the running backs are there. It's just
imagine if we still had Trent Williams.
You guys kind of are building the offense opposite how I would, but it's just get an O-line and you'll be good.
Oh, they better address the O-line and either the obviously free agency. It's not. I don't want to put them too much money in free agency unless there's like a really high end like tackle or guard or something. But in the first round, got to be offensive line.
There's like 4 tackles that are pretty good coming out this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like they should have drafted I can't remember his name. The Browns got him. Johnson or is it Juwan Jones?
The big one.
Yeah. Juwan Jones, yeah. In the second round, could have easily snagged him. Nope.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Next game on the schedule. Our things are getting messed up, but oh well. Since the game is starting to end. Next up, we have Falcons at the Titans. It was the Titans Houston Oilers throwback game, and they get the win 28-23. Overall, in my opinion, just a feel-good game. Coming from a Titans fan that knows the season's probably over, but Will Levis comes out, throws for 230 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. only the second rookie ever to throw 4 touchdowns in their rookie debut. The other one being Marcus Mariota. Go figure. 3 of which went to DeAndre Hopkins, who had himself a day. The Falcons actually finally moved on from Desmond Ridder in the first half. He just looked hesitant, took 5 sacks. So at halftime, they brought out Taylor Heineke, who looked pretty good. Threw for 175 yards, a touchdown. Led them to, I think, 3 straight scoring drives. But the Titans just didn't really let off the gas in the fourth quarter. Huh?
So we all know Heineke's got that dog in him.
Yeah, no, he looked good.
Heineke.
Derrick Henry, 22 carries, 101 yards. Not like a pretty game, but I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about getting a win, especially in those Oilers jerseys that look so good. Now my only thought is a few quarterbacks went down today. Ryan Tannehill might be good to go in like a week or so. Maybe trade him to one of these teams.
What teams would want him?
Yeah.
Vikings.
The Vikings aren't going to the playoffs, so no reason to trade for him.
Yeah, he's lost Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson on. It's just,
I would tank.
It's a rough. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett got hurt. Well, they have Mr. Trubisky, but
yeah, Mitch is. He's never taken that next step.
Who's he? Who's Mr. Trubisky?
Yeah, but I mean, Tannehill didn't look that good this year either.
No.
But
are you mad as a Titans fan that they won today?
No, I'm not going to be. Of course, I was watching the game and I was like, "Hey, if we lose, we just get a better draft pick." But my opinion was it was all about seeing what Will Levis has.
Well, it could. Levis could be one of those
shining light.
Levis could be one of those rookie quarterbacks that takes you on a 8-game win streak and the whole season's turned around.
Is that what Hurts did?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were referencing that. I think that's what Lamar did.
RG3 did that, didn't he?
But yeah, for me, it was just evaluating Levis. The Titans' O-line's still garbage, but at this point in their careers, he is more mobile than Ryan Tannehill, and the thing that's driven me crazy about Ryan Tannehill this year is he's been missing on deep throws, and Will Levis was on point. They said 3 of his 4 touchdowns today are already 3 of the top 10 most air yardage touchdowns of the NFL season so far.
Damn.
That one touch. Go ahead.
I just said damn.
Surprised.
I was gonna say that one touchdown to. Do you guys still have Westbrook?
Yeah, Westbrook-Akine.
Great touchdown. Great throw.
I'm pretty sure it was a screen.
I don't know what
the
it
linebacker. I'm pretty sure it was a screen to Derrick Henry, and it looked like the linebacker read it perfectly, so he rolled back and just.
Oh yeah, that's when you say
fired it across the body.
Yeah, well, it looked like the view I saw was from at the end zone, so I didn't see the whole play, but it looked like Levis was going through his progressions, which could have been the screen, I guess, and then he fluck it, and it was perfect drop right into the end zone.
Yeah, look good. I don't know if it was him starting or if it was the fact that it was like the anniversary game and the team was hyped up, but Jeffrey Simmons had 2 sacks. Harold Landry had 2 sacks. D'Amico Autry got a sack. Tajay Spears, he was running hard. DeAndre Hopkins hadn't caught a touchdown all year, and then he has 3 in one game. So
sometimes a team just needs a little bit of juice from one player can change everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice to finally it's been almost 20 years of. I mean, I'm sorry. RJ probably feels the same way, but
I'm about to say, yeah,
looking for a franchise quarterback. I mean, you guys had RG3, just injuries, just as unfortunate. You had that. I remember that. RG3 rookie season. I was slinging his jerseys at Modell's. It was
That
a
was
madhouse.
that year.
Just to get off topic, my store sold more RG3 jerseys than like any store on the East Coast.
Wild. Got to go to Moe's. Now they're
That
closed.
was their last hurrah before getting shut down.
There's not a few more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Titans. I was gonna say Derrick Henry. If he's not gonna get traded, which I guess the reports are they don't plan to trade him, got
Bunch of lying bastards.
Apparently, he said he doesn't want to leave, but he said if they get a deal they can't refuse, he understands.
what a nice guy. Well, he had 22 carries for $1, and Spears only had 3 carries, so I guess they wanted to lean on him in Levis's first game. But I was also going to say the Titans have some winnable games coming up. They got Tampa Bay, division game against Jacksonville. Anything can happen. Poop Carolina, another division game against the Colts. You know, never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear what JJ Watt had to say about your throwback uniforms?
He's been whining about that for 20 years.
It should be the Houston Texans throwback. I have no idea what he said, but I'm assuming it was like that.
It's the same organization, though. It's not like it's a different organization. That was the organization that was the Houston Oilers, and they moved. Kind of like, it just doesn't make it wouldn't make sense to me. It in a sense of because you're in Houston now, you want your team to have them, but it's not the same team.
Bud Adams moved the Oilers to Tennessee because I'm pretty sure Houston wouldn't give him a new stadium. And when after a few years in Houston, they were like, in Tennessee, they're like, well, this doesn't make sense anymore. And they became Titans. Makes sense.
Yeah, it still had the name too, and it's the baby blues. Like that's the Titans Oilers colors. That's not the Houston Texans.
Some baby blue colors.
JJ Watt's the same idiot that had his whole team walk out in varsity jackets before a game, and they got murdered on national television. If you don't remember that,
I do not.
But
I do.
In the playoffs.
I don't know if it was the playoffs.
In the shop
is. Yeah.
Matt Schaub. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
His gunslinger.
Matt Schaub to Andre Johnson connection.
Straight from the hip.
He was special. Vince McMahon.
All right. Next game up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Steelers. Jaguars get the win 20-10. The big highlight of this one is Kenny Pickett gets knocked out in this game. Kind of a shady hit, if you will.
I didn't see it.
Landed awkwardly on his throwing arm. And then they had to go to Mitch Trubisky. And, Mitch is who he is at this point in his career. And the Steelers just couldn't do much of anything after that. I'm trying to find out where the injury happened.
End of the second quarter, I think.
Yep. It looks like it was 17 seconds left in the half. Took a nasty hit. Mitch had to come in. Just looking at the box score, Trevor Lawrence, touchdown, interception, 290 yards. Mitch Trubisky had a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Travis Etienne's kind of been dragging this Jaguar show lately. He ran for 80 yards, but he also had another 70 yards and a touchdown receiving. Had a 56-yard catch for a touchdown. It was pretty impressive.
Believe it or not, that was his first receiving touchdown of his career.
I believe it. For the Steelers, Deontay Johnson, he's returned, but he did his typical Deontay Johnson. He had 14 targets, 8 catches, 80 yards for a whopping 6 yards a target.
Did you say Deontay Johnson or Jarvis Landry? Sorry.
Good one. But the
took me a second.
The Jaguars do just enough to hang on. This Steelers offense is, not inspiring anyone. Who knows when Matt Canada's ever going to get fired?
Probably
But
after the
it just
season.
seems their defense their defense can win games, but if they're not going to be able to put up, over, I don't know, 10, 13 points, the decent offenses are just going to, not make mistakes, and you'll be able to pull through.
Yeah, I mean the Jaguars are one of the hottest teams in the NFL now. 5 straight wins.
Something like that. They're overrated, is what it is.
Well, you're a hater. Did you see Malik Willis's tweet? I was just
It
scrolling.
was no, it was about being booed or something.
No, just I guess because he wasn't starting today. Control what you can control. Bible verse. My
Yeah.
career's
He
over.
he they brought him in a couple times, but he fumbled the ball, and then they were like, okay, nope,
Ugh,
Will
that's
Levis.
the worst. Now's my
Yeah.
chance.
I feel bad for Malik Willis, but it is what it is. All the tools in the world. Maybe he can put it together.
Doesn't have that third tool, the brain.
I think he should just
This
be a
bitch
weapon.
don't know about the brain.
I think he should just be a weapon and leave it at that. Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about in that Steelers Jags game? It was pretty dull.
No, I mean Jags are looking decent now. They're winning games, 6-2. A little sloppy, but wins are wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tied for the lead in the AFC.
Yep.
Not too
Travis
shabby.
Etienne, they can keep
So-
riding Travis Etienne. Hopefully, Trevor Lawrence gets into form with Calvin Ridley soon.
Yeah, other than that, I mean Ridley had a way better game today than he had last couple weeks. So
Yeah, what do you have? 6.
he had 11 fantasy points. Yeah, I'll take it. Better than nothing, and I'm winning. So
next game up, we have the Jets at the Giants. Jets win 13-10 in overtime. The announcer, I'm pretty sure his exact words before they went into overtime were, "This is the greatest bad game you'll ever see." The announcer.
The announcers are on another one this year, I swear.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor got knocked out in this game.
Didn't see that coming.
Hurt his ribs. So the Giants had to bring in their quarterback, Tommy DeVito,
The rookie.
who threw 3 passes all game,
7.
and I think most of those came in overtime.
He had a rushing touchdown, right?
Yep.
Yes, he did get a rushing touchdown. Saquon Barkley just got completely abused in this game. He had 36 carries for 128 yards, and then he had 3 catches for 0 yards.
Yeah, that's rough. He was my sit of the day, so he still got a good fantasy value out of that. But you're not wrong. I mean, the averages could be better.
Only one Giants receiver caught a pass, and it was for negative yards.
Oof.
The Jets. We'll get to the meat of the game. The Tyrod Taylor injury, that was a big one. He had to go to the hospital, get his ribs checked out. The big thing was the game was 10-7. The Giants had the ball right outside of field goal range. And it was like 3rd and 3. And they ran, I think it was like a outside zone to Barkley. And he did the old Arian Foster, cut back hard up where the crease opened up right down the middle. He stretched it, cut it back, boom, hit the crease. He took like 3 steps and like took a hit, and then like it looked like he like almost like slid down, like he was like he thought he like got the first down and was going to go down and just kill the clock. The problem was he didn't get to the first down. He was short, so it was 4th and 1.
Okay.
So the Giants, I think, punted, and then Zach Wilson, who had been garbage all game, I think he hit Garrett Wilson for a 50-yarder, and then another receiver for like a 15-yarder to kick a field goal with no time left on the clock.
You're talking about this is still in regulation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then went to overtime, and the Jets eventually win. So
Yeah, because
Barkley, I think Barkley just runs downhill until someone tackles him. The game would have been over. Giants would have won, but instead it looked like it. I mean, who knows? Maybe he got hit weird and went down, but it looked like he went down on his own, but he was short of the marker.
Yep, and then they missed the field goal. So what do you get?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So yeah, that's that game. Giants season's
Oh, for sure.
basically
I
over.
said even last year they were a fluke. Been saying it.
Yeah. I won't
Cabbage.
be shocked
Ass cabbage.
I won't be shocked if Barkley gets traded.
Just trying to find the play for Saquon on that 3rd and 3. Can't find it though. Maybe they should have just gone. Maybe if they could successfully do the brotherly shove, but they failed miserably a couple weeks ago, they would have been able to go for it on 4th and 1.
People can't do it like the Eagles.
Well, they fumbled the ball earlier, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that was one highlight of those games. First time stopped.
I did see they did the fake brotherly shove.
Yeah, they've done that like 2 or 3 times this year. It usually works.
Yeah.
Gotta save it though, so people forget about it.
It's true. Can't do it all the time.
Moving on.
Somebody asked Brian Dable if they were going to look to trade Saquon Barkley. And he said, yeah, that's not happening.
Oh, I mean, to each their own, but probably they should.
He's not the GM. It's not your choice, boy.
Yeah. Getting into the meat and potatoes. Next up, with the Patriots at Miami. The Dolphins won 31-17. Not surprising. I mean, Bill Belichick, I'm pretty sure he knows what he needs to do each game, but when Mac Jones is your quarterback and their team is just a little light on the talent, this is what you end up with.
So you're on the Bill Belichick train. It's Mac Jones' fault, 100%.
It is?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I just don't think Mac Jones is it. Like,
their offense sucks overall, though.
Yeah, I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, this has been him all year. 10 carries, 39 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 7 carries, 36 yards. But I mean, the big thing for me was,
why are you're a 2-6 team, and you know it's going to be a questionable year. What advantage do you have giving the ball to a 30-year-old running back?
Not believing in Mac Jones.
That's not an advantage.
But the Dolphins, their receiving core finally bounces back. Tyreek Hill, 8 for 112 and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 7 for 120 and a touchdown. Let's see.
I learned nothing from this game. The Dolphins have done what they've done all year.
Yeah, well, it took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, this isn't anything less than what we expected. The Dolphins, for the most part, are going to abuse poorly talented teams. And again, like we said on Thursday, going back over a calendar year, they have not beaten a team with a winning record yet.
They got another chance next week against the Chiefs. They needed to win this game, maybe. But still, it's like they showed me they can bounce back from a loss. That's all I found out from this game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, they're definitely a legit contender in the AFC.
And they got Ramsey back today, so that's a plus.
It is indeed.
Yeah, that'll be big for them if Ramsey and Xavier Howard start, locking up people. That goes a long way because they're going to put Eagles game aside. they're going to put up points. And so when other teams are trying to pass, Dolphins pass rush is okay, but if you have two all-pro cornerbacks that are playing well, it definitely is in your favor. I need to see them beat a winning team. Like, until they do it, they're somewhat fraudulent in my opinion.
Yep, like I said, huge game next week against the Chiefs. For the Chiefs as well. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yep. Next up, the New Orleans Saints go to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, and they beat them 38-27. New Orleans covers the spread. Derek Carr. Huh?
Nothing. I just saw the score. I hadn't seen this game yet. I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, Derek Carr throws for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew does his Gardner Minshew things. He throws for 202 touchdowns and his 1 interception. Alvin Kamara churning out carries, 17 carries for 3.5 yards a pop, but he gets a touchdown. And then Taysom Hill, he
Don't
came
want to
in.
talk about it.
He was questionable. I was going to play him too, but he was questionable, so I didn't. And he gets 9 carries for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Colts, it's just weird. Zach Moss, 11 carries, 66 yards. That's 6 yards a carry and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 12 for 95. That's 8 yards a carry. But they just couldn't keep up with the Saints. Rashid Shaheed had 150 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara threw in another 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. The Colts pass game was kind of in shambles. They had Josh Downs had a few nice catches. Michael Pittman, 8 catches for 40 yards. That's 5 yards a catch. That's not helping anybody. And it kind of ended up being a shootout or a run out. I don't know. What do you want to call it? And the Colts just couldn't keep up.
If I'm a Colts fan, your stud rookie quarterback's injured for the year. He needs to get healthy. What much more do you have to play for this year? Jonathan Taylor's looked good in his return. I wouldn't be too upset just to have a stinker of a year and get a really high draft
So
pick.
are you pro tank?
It's really hard to tank, I think, in the NFL because no player is going to go out there or coach. It's too much of a physical sport for any player to be like, yeah, sure, I'll tank. But I mean, if you want to go out there every week and have Gardner Minshew throw 41 passes, you're probably going to lose. So if they do that the rest of the year, yeah, I'm pro. If I have to sit through a season of Gardner Minshew, I'm pro sucking and getting the best player possible in the draft and getting Anthony Richardson healthy. Yes.
Yeah, I can't blame you on that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I just don't think it's feasible in the NFL. I mean, we've seen teams try. The Dolphins the 1 year. I guess it was the tank for 2 a year where they basically traded away any bit of talent they had. The Browns apparently were actively trying to lose as well, paying off coaches for losses.
That's different. I think if you're going to be paying off people or going down and and telling coaches, "Hey, we're tanking," like don't game plan or stuff like that, that's one thing. But if you're a GM and the best thing for your team is to rebuild and get as much draft picks as possible and trading away players, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But all the extra stuff, paying off guys and whatnot, that's like,
Nah,
have some integrity.
integrity. Yeah. hey, if you're a Saints fan, and I work with like 4 of them, I'm sure they're thrilled today, but the rest of us could care less.
Chris Olave had another game of getting 50 targets
Nothing.
for only like 5 catches with like no yards.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Vikings walk away 24-10 victors. Unfortunately, it looks like Kirk Cousins is going to be out for the year with a torn Achilles. They showed the video, the play where it supposedly popped, and that's exactly what it does look like. He had to be carted off the field. Um,
Such a shame.
I mean, the Vikings right now are sitting at 4-4. You said, why would you bother trading for another quarterback? Do you think their season is completely over?
I would say yes. And
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
rush Justin Jefferson to come back either. There's no point.
yeah, I just don't think. Let's say you get Justin Jefferson back in a few weeks. What options do you have at quarterback out there to trade? And looking at your schedule, a lot of winnable games, but it's going to be grinded out rest of the year. And I don't know, like who are you trading for that's really going to put you over the top of what Kirk Cousins was able to do, which was be a 500 team.
Do you 9 wins probably gets you the wild card in the NFC?
Yeah, but who are you trading for?
Ryan Tannehill,
Ryan Tannehill's not going to carry this team to the playoffs.
9 wins.
They don't even have Justin Jefferson,
He'll come back eventually.
and they have no run game.
They just need an attempt at a run game.
I don't know. Like RJ said too, you don't want to rush Justin Jefferson back either. He probably doesn't want to rush back. He wants his money still. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's unfortunate that Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles when it's possible. He could have been traded in the next like 48 hours.
That's true as well.
I don't think he was going to be, but you never know. Now it's just off the table.
Yeah.
That's just unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a few good wins in a row. They beat Chicago. That is what it is. They had the great win against San Fran, and then today against Green Bay. But I don't know.
Well, on the other side, yeah, that's all sad and terrible for the Vikings. But what about the Packers?
They
They
suck.
fall to they're 2-5. Jordan Love, he's just
Inconsistent. He's
He's
just all things
very inconsistent. Yeah.
I don't think he has the accuracy to be a starter in the NFL. He was 24-41, another touchdown interception. The other thing is the Packers run game. Aaron Jones was 7 for 29, and AJ Dillon was 6 for 11. They basically have no run game after having one of the better run games the last, I think, 3 years it was in the NFL. So that's not helping them for sure. I'll give him that. But then if you look at the Packers receivers, Jaden Reed's been okay, but and Romeo Dubs, like he catches touchdowns here and there, but like haven't heard much of Christian Watson at all this year.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't play the first 3 or 4 games because of that hamstring injury. He came back, scored a touchdown, still only had limited touches. Apparently last week he got a little hurt, but he was full participant in practice, I think starting Wednesday or Thursday, and still just a no-show.
I was going to ask who'd you end up going with today, RJ?
Lawrence and Ridley.
My God.
Which, it was definitely the better outcome.
The Packers are just one of the bigger disappointments in the NFL. I think people had high hopes for them based on what their run game could have been and maybe the defense, I guess.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's true. I thought their run game would be comparable to what it's been. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon combined for
Well,
close. 1,800 yards,
maybe we
15 rushing touchdowns.
were mistaken in predicting or hoping or thinking that that could happen because going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love is a big difference in what teams have to prepare for, and you have to account for Aaron Rodgers and what his effect was on the success of their run game, I think.
Yeah.
And if Jordan Love's going to be so inconsistent, especially with his accuracy, and you don't have to fear that, and teams can play. And they really, I mean, Christian Watson had a good rookie year, but there's not really anybody on that side of the ball that you're afraid of. And then just, I guess
Exactly.
teams can focus on blowing up the run. And Aaron Jones has been nicked up this year, and A.J. Dillon is just a fat lard.
But yeah, a report came out today that the Packers are still going to trying to trade for a running back.
Why? What does that do?
That's what my thought is.
Three-headed
Like,
poop stick?
does their team is Matt LaFleur going to their like manager saying Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon just suck that bad that they're the problem?
Just give me one more guy. One more guy, we can get it done.
Cool, because if you remember
Jesus.
early in the year, they were one of the names that were on the list for trading for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Packers are just
Man,
Packers.
what
It's rough when the Packers suck because they're just they're such an OG team, and they're always good. And I like the year uniforms and the stadium. It's just nice when there's playoff football in the tundra.
I mean, and yeah, and if we're all football fans, in a perfect world, it would be nice if all the teams were competitive. Like that's what we want, really.
No, Dallas can suck.
Okay,
Yes.
besides Dallas.
We got
Forever
Taylor
and
over here
always.
hoping Jacksonville and Indianapolis and Houston all play good.
You know what I meant. All right, moving on. Speaking of Dallas, we have the
We
Rams
lost
visiting.
connection. We're gonna have to go to the next topic.
The Rams visiting the Cowboys. The Cowboys win 43-20. It was a really ugly game. I can't remember the series of events, but hey, I don't need to because I can just do play-by-play. So the game.
Stafford sucked. That's what you first need to know. The pick six he threw early in the game. I think it was
So this is how the game went down. Dak Prescott touchdown to Jake Ferguson, who I did not start in fantasy, and the Rams got a field goal. So you're thinking, okay, this is a game, and then Dallas gets a field goal. You're 3-10. You're like, oh, no worries. Still 3 quarters left. Well, then Stafford throws a pick six, so it's 3-17.
Garbage throw. Garbage.
Then still beginning of the second quarter, 13 minutes left in the second quarter, the Rams have a punt blocked for a safety, 3-19. Then with 12 minutes left, Dak throws a touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb, 3-26. Then at the end of the half, Dak throws a touchdown pass again to CeeDee Lamb, 3-31. And the Rams come back a little bit, but the game is basically over. The Cowboys eventually brought in Cooper Rush to ice out the game. Dak finishes with 4 total touchdowns. Cowboys run game still kind of finding its way. Tony Pollard had 12 carries for 53 yards. Rico Dowdle, he had 5 for 18. CeeDee Lamb had a nice game, 158 yards receiving, but it was over before it really got started. I know Dallas they're coming off a bye week, so you expect them to be firing on all cylinders. But I mean, their defense is so hyped up, like they were built to take advantage of middle of the pack teams like the Rams.
Their defense seems to feast on lesser teams. The 49ers game, that was a weird game. It's just weird that a defense can do so much. And even their special teams getting the block punt today. And I think they've had a couple of special teams plays like that this year. I don't know off the top of my head. But I don't know. They're winning. All I can say about this game is that the Cowboys won, and next week they go to Philly, and I think it's the biggest game of the
Going
year in
back
the
to
NFL so
Philly.
far.
Philly, Philly, going
It'll
back
dictate
to
who's
Philly.
first place
I
in
don't
the
think so.
NFC.
Yep, big game coming up. Matt Stafford exited with injury, um, banged up his thumb. I think they've yet to announce the severity of it. Hopefully, he's okay. For you Cooper Cup and Puka and Nakua managers out there, but that remains to be seen. Did you guys see the Blueface story with the Rams?
No.
Did you, RJ?
No.
So like the rapper Blueface,
Yeah.
he was at the game last week.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
He
yeah,
had,
yeah. Strippers.
he had strippers in his suite,
Jesus.
That's it.
but the suite's like kind of like wide open right there in the stadium.
Ain't the first time somebody's done that.
Well, Matt Stafford's wife basically called it out and said that doesn't belong in the stadium and blah blah blah. And there's a little beef between her and him going on.
Stafford must have been a little distracted, and she saw that.
Damn it, Karen! Why are you fighting with the rappers again?
Yes, I heard about that.
All right. Well, this computer would work.
Blueface, not a football guy. Real football guys watch football instead of women
Well, I think he had the strippers dancing while he
or men. They could have been male strippers.
Well,
Can
I
we,
think he
have,
had the
can we
stripper.
confirm?
Now there's anything wrong with that.
There's not.
Well,
I'm just saying that's what I'm saying.
It's
There are
Seinfeld.
male strippers.
The reason I'm laughing is I'm pretty sure he had the strippers dancing while he proposed to his girlfriend.
Ooh, not Christine Rock girl, isn't it? Goddamn.
No,
California
different girl.
love.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That
All right. Well,
stadium's-
moving on.
How
Next
dare you
game we
bring this
have
up on our show?
with
This ain't
Rams.
TMZ.
All right. Texans go to the Panthers, and the Panthers get the walk-off field goal to win 15-13. Panthers get their first win.
Smash this like button.
CJ Stroud, probably
Disappointing.
his worst game as a pro. 0 touchdowns. Only throws for 140 yards. Bryce Young.
He had a rushing touchdown.
Oh yeah. Bryce Young gets the 1 touchdown, throws for 235 yards.
Gets the W.
Texans couldn't get much going. They had no run game, and Noah Brown, he had 57 receiving yards, but that was really it for them. For the Panthers, Adam Thielen, he's been doing his thing for him. He's kind of having a decent
Resurgence.
year. Yeah, resurgence. And then Jonathan Mingo, the rookie receiver, he was okay. 4 catches for 62 yards. Tommy Tremble caught a little short touchdown. Not a whole lot to see in this game. If we go through the scoring summary, Andrew Beck got a 1-yard touchdown run for the Vikings early in the second quarter. And then Bryce Young tied it up. Did I say Vikings? I must have Adam Thielen on the mind.
Fair enough.
Andrew Beck got a touchdown for the Texans early in the second, and then the Panthers returned the favor to get a touchdown to make it 7-6 at the end of the half. And after 2 Panthers field goals, CJ Stroud rushes up the middle to take the lead to end the third quarter, and then with 3 seconds left, Eddie Pinheiro kicks a 23-yard field goal to win the game. And that's all she wrote. I mean, these teams are what they are at this point. It's CJ Stroud has looked pretty good as a rookie so far, and Bryce Young, he's hopefully coming into his own. Biggest thing with him is avoiding injuries and staying upright. But this is definitely a game that probably only Texans and Panthers fans are watching.
For sure.
I was paying attention because it was the last leg of my parlay, and I thought it was an easy spread for Texans to cover because they look like they can put up points, but they lost.
Not today. Yeah, I started CJ Stroud over Sam Howell. It was like a
Ooh,
30-point differential in points. So
that one hurt my bobble sack.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, I looked at Sam Howell and on the free agent on the waiver, and I was like, I could see him throwing like 2 or 3 touchdowns against the Eagles, but I was like, you know what? I'll just stick with Stafford. He's over reliable. And then after that pick 6, I was like,
That's why
what have
fantasy.
I done?
Motherfucker.
That's why fantasy is just pure luck. Sam Howell in the Washington offense has been just not good lately, getting sacked galores. CJ Stroud has looked like a great rookie going up a terrible Carolina defense. And then today happens. Sam Howell
Exactly.
throws for like 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then CJ Stroud has his arguably
4 touchdowns.
arguably has one of his worst games as a rookie.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, as a logical fantasy owner, what I did made sense. It's just how the cards unfold.
Yes.
Yeah. How the turntables.
You went with the analytics and they lied.
All right, so that's all the early games. We will go through the afternoon games real quick here.
Just round it off.
Starting out, we'll go with Cleveland and Seattle. The Browns go cross country, and they unfortunately lose to the Seahawks 24-20.
Shout out PJ. Shot though.
Yeah, PJ Walker does his best to keep them afloat with that elite defense, but unfortunately, the 2 interceptions and 3 sacks were too much. Geno Smith also threw 2 interceptions, but luckily for him, the Seahawks were able to stay on top. Tyler Lockett gets 80 yards and a touchdown, and Jackson Smith and Jiba. Is that it? I feel like I always pronounced that wrong.
Yes.
He gets a touchdown as well. He's
2 in a row.
Slowly coming into his own.
It helps that DK Metcalf was out.
No, he played.
I thought he was missing today.
No, he had 5 catches for 67 yards.
Oh, missed that.
Yep. And then it's just
covered.
It's just the one. It's just that one more scoring drive is all the Browns needed. You think if only they had a $250 million quarterback that could make that one extra play to help them out, they would be maybe undefeated. But I don't know where you're going to find that in today's NFL.
I think he's at the massage parlor right now.
What is going on there?
I think he actually does have a shoulder injury, I believe.
But like he wasn't on the injury report, and then all of a sudden, is that what I heard?
I thought
I've heard so many different rumors. I've heard so many different rumors, but it's like he has no reason to play. And then Brady Quinn called him out, and then Brady Quinn, he hit him with that.
I hate Brady.
Did you see Brady Quinn's quote?
No.
Let me look it up real quick. It's pretty funny.
Well,
I saw Brian Clark said something.
We got Browns fans tweet. We got Browns fans tweeting. How can the Browns get out of Deshaun Watson's contract?
I mean, didn't they put technicalities in there?
You need someone to. They need to hire someone to, take out his knee.
They should have put a technicality in there for if you suck.
Yeah, it was only for if he got like in jail or something, jail time or whatever.
He was, I don't know. The whole thing's weird.
He was found guilty.
He was just so good in Houston, and I really didn't think a year off. I don't know. Whatever.
It definitely didn't help him. That's for sure.
All right, let me find this Brady Quinn quote real quick. Okay, so Brady Quinn called out Deshaun Watson for basically milking his injuries and getting out of playing, and then I think it was Deshaun's agent called out Brady Quinn and said he's like just staying behind the microphone, doesn't know what he's talking about, and then said, how about we massage this conversation and get it to a happy ending?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's when I think Ryan Clark came out and said something about everybody should stop bringing it up because the people affected is more than just Deshaun Watson. It's all the girls and victims and stuff like that. But either way, it's still a part of his history, and people are going to call him out on it.
I mean, when you're getting that much guaranteed money, and the whole NFL world was furious when you got it because there was questions about if you deserved it, if it's even right to give out that type of contract, and then this is what you're going to do with it. Like, you make the Browns
Maybe
look
it'll finally.
foolish. You're
Yeah, maybe,
hurting future quarterbacks.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it'll make owners realize they should stop blowing all this money on certain players.
Yeah. I just feel bad for the Browns fans because like their defense is legit this year, and if he could just be half of what he was in Houston, or just be on the field, I think they could be competing for the division. But at this rate, they're competing probably for a wild card, and
Especially
we'll
with
see if
that
they keep it
defense.
up.
The defense is something.
Yeah.
They have a manageable schedule, even with or
Yeah.
without Deshaun. Cardinals. I'm not going to say every game, but they have Cardinals on there, Broncos, Rams, Bears, Texans.
Yeah. Speaking of the division, the Baltimore Ravens went to Arizona to take on the Cardinals and came out on top 31-24. Game wasn't as close as the score dictates, but Arizona actually covered. They were 9.5-point underdogs. Gus Edwards, kind of the hero of the game. He rushes 19 carries, 80 yards for 3 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure all 3 were on the goal line. For a minute there, it looked like the Cardinals were maybe going to surprise the Ravens. They were tied 7-7, and I believe Cardinals were driving, and then Dobbs threw an interception, which gave the Ravens life, and the Ravens kind of ran off with the game at that point.
Yeah, Tucker also missed a few field goals early on that kept him in it.
God, he's trash.
I don't know if he missed a few, but he
What?
missed one.
Garbage.
Which is it's rare to see.
So garbage.
It's the best kicker in NFL history, but
basically,
Yeah, he just missed one field goal, not multiple.
oh, well, you made it seem like it was worse.
hater.
At one point, the Ravens were up 31-15, and the Cardinals scored twice with under 2 minutes to play to make it a little bit closer of a game. But that's all that matters in the betting world. I mean, it is what it is. Cardinals are the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is apparently back in practicing. I don't know if he's actually going to come back this year. I think it's in his best interest to come back because if they end up with a terrible record and Caleb Williams or Drake May on the clock, he might be competing for a second chance with a new team.
Yeah, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, he should definitely come back and show his worth this last half of the season.
On the flip side, if he comes back and sucks, then that's probably the last we see of Kyler Murray.
Some team will give him a chance.
Maybe the Vikings can call up and say, hey, we're going to trade him.
I would rather have Kyler Murray than Deshaun Watson.
They both have stupid contracts, though.
But one's fully guaranteed, and one guy actually plays if he's not hurt.
Plays Call of Duty.
Oof. The new Call of Duty is about to come out. Someone was
Kyler
like, "Oh,
Murray
great,
season's-
Kyler Murray's about to return."
And
Yeah,
these
someone
zombies
was like,
looks fucking sick.
Yeah, they're like, Kyler Murray's about to come off the injury reserve right when Call of Duty 3 comes out.
He's gonna hurt his ankle again.
I tripped on the curb in the parking lot. I'm gonna need another 4 weeks.
He's just in
I saw
bed
you
playing
on
Call of
Twitch
Duty.
last night.
I'm relaxing.
Could you imagine if a player got caught getting injured, but then like the stream was when he got injured?
Just don't stream.
You see him in
Don't
the
be a fool.
background. He leaves his stream on accidentally. Has his leg like tied up like in Misery, takes a hammer, smashes his foot.
Forgets to turn it off. Just starts working out when he's healthy.
God, Kyler Murray crushing his own leg. Gotta play Call of Duty. He's got
God.
the stick in his mouth. This got weird.
Oh,
Next
God.
game.
All right. Next up, Chiefs go to Mile High to take on the Broncos, and they lose.
I'm never picking the Chiefs again.
9-24.
The freaking 9-24. They're the second worst team in football.
Best
Patrick,
best
so-
bet -7.
So yeah, the Chiefs were 7-point favorites, and they got blown out. Patrick Mahomes,
Poop.
he throws 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, gets sacked 3 times, has a 59 quarterback rating. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson is 12 of 19 for 114 yards, but 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs, let's see, Isaiah Pacheco had 40 yards rushing. Javonte Williams went 27 for 85. That's only 3.1 yards a carry, but they were churning out those yards, trying to kill the clock and just play it safe.
Yeah, guess who leads the NFL in interceptions?
Patrick Mahomes.
Not Jalen Hurts. I want to hear all the talk this week about how Patrick Mahomes ain't that good.
Yeah, this was just an ugly
purposes, honestly.
This is just an ugly
Apparently,
game.
Mahomes had the flu today.
Oh,
that caused him to throw the
okay.
ball in triple coverage.
So he's no Michael Jordan, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Chiefs just couldn't get anything going, and the Broncos just basically hung around, took their points when they could get them, and for a while I was like, "Oh, the Chiefs will make a play. They'll storm back."
Same.
And it just never happened. The biggest flaw with the Chiefs, in my opinion, is they're never gonna run a ton on you. And if you can bracket up Travis Kelce, or if you just have a guy that can just stick with them, because of the receiving core the Chiefs have, it's going to cause them problems. And I think throughout the rest of the season, teams are catching on to that, which is why I think the Chiefs are going to trade for a receiver not named McCole Hardman by the deadline Tuesday.
I wouldn't.
What receivers are on the deadline? I mean,
on the block. There's rumors potentially DeAndre Hopkins, but the price for him just went up.
What's that gonna do?
Yeah, it did. 3 touchdowns in one game would do that to you.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, and also, I don't know. I mean, let's see. I mean, if the Vikings are done, is Justin Jefferson available?
No.
All right.
I would sue.
If you're the Packers, Christian Watson, maybe.
They need receivers, not to get rid of them.
Receivers who could be available.
Devontae Adams.
In division, not going to happen.
No.
It's true. He's just wasting his time there in Oakland or in Las Vegas, though. Wasting that Hall of Fame career for nothing.
The problem is there's just so many teams that are still in it. It's hard to find sellers.
Even the Broncos, who were looking like sellers a few weeks ago, have won.
Jerry Jeudy
and that's in division. They're probably not going to give them to the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Maybe if you called up the Rams and it was a really nice offer, maybe Cooper Kupp.
No way.
I don't think so.
You know what I would do? I would call up the Giants about Darius Slayton. I think he's a really good receiver and just
Let's add more to what we already have.
He's got issues too.
They already got Tony. What do they want? Tony 2?
He's way better than Tony. Way better.
Same, but different.
No. Different, and not same.
Yeah, I'm with West Side on that one.
Well,
Last game on the schedule, it was the West Side lock of the week. Bengals went to San Fran.
I just realized that my best bet lost because of stupid Cardinals.
Yeah.
Well, not all of us. if you guys are making bets on no interference money line, you know who's your guy. West
Dang,
Side.
Taylor was 3 for 3 today.
Hey, I've been
Yeah, I'm 3 for 3 as always. My picks don't
Howdy.
miss. Check the stats.
rewind
Check
the pod,
stats.
rewind the pod, and see what we were saying about listen to our advice.
My advice. Hang on, let me check something
Well, it's
here.
YouTube as a whole.
Check the stats. I just pick winners. That's all I do.
No, I mean Taylor. Yeah, I mean my day was bad. Ravens didn't cover. Damian Pierce crapped the bed.
Ooh.
My must sit was Metcalf, but he still had 12. Taylor picked Bengals even with Brock Purdy back. Must
I
start
had no
Brees
fear.
Hall.
I showed no fear.
Brees Hall was always that's an easy must start. You kind of
Mine too, but you sent it before I did, you butthole.
kind of cheating in the future. Don't pick anybody's going to start Brees Hall. And
What are you talking
Especially
about?
after his,
What are you
especially after his
talking-
touches got
why
increased. I brought that up
wouldn't
weeks
you-
ago.
Brees Hall is an obvious start, not a must start.
I don't think he's an obvious start.
He's
I
like
think
a top 5 running back in the NFL.
Since he got his snap count back up, he's definitely been a must start.
Yo, same for you.
An obvious
RJ,
start.
Gibbs,
Sorry,
Gibbs boy.
Gibbs. What do you mean? He's only had one good game in 5 weeks.
Must sit for Taylor. Also, Aaron Jones. That's a pretty good call. RJ almost
like
had a
this.
good call with the must sit for Saquon Barkley, but he ended up having a
Like
ton of
15
yards.
points though. Yeah.
So and then TBD for Jahmyr Gibbs, but he probably have a big game tomorrow.
We'll see. Like I said, he was on my bench for a couple weeks there because of his lackluster performances. It wasn't his fault. It was because he wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah, he's been
But
playing
still.
well. They just have they eased him in. But
Well,
anyways,
Montgomery getting hurt really helped him out
yeah. All right.
because they were riding that train.
Yeah. But like we said, go with West Side. I got the picks.
Week 8.
So
we got
two more games left.
All right. So Bengals get the win, 31-17, as I predicted. Joe Burrow comes out ridiculous. 32 attempts. He completed 28 of them for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 134 rating. Brock Purdy, did his best to keep up, but could not. He had 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Somehow still gets a 94 rating. That doesn't seem to add up to me. Joe Burrow also chipped in 43 rush yards, and then Joe Mixon, 16 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, not the yardage, he had 54 rush yards, but all he does is score touchdowns. I don't know how long his touchdown streak's going to go. And then Purdy actually chipped in another basically 60 yards rushing. Jamar Chase had a clean game, 10 catches, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. And then McCaffrey, 60 yards receiving and another touchdown. As much as I hate to say it, I feel like if McCaffrey doesn't win MVP at this rate, the reward's a joke, and they should just rename it like the Peyton Manning Award or something.
Because it always goes to a quarterback.
Yeah, like they gave it to Adrian Peterson.
Watch McCaffrey win it.
Because
he scores like 2 touchdowns a game.
AJ Brown
Brown's definitely being well.
Okay. We'll go over the numbers.
He's setting records here.
Both of them you can make arguments for at the moment, but it's still a long left to play.
All right.
You could argue Tyreek Hill too.
AJ Brown has 939 yards and 5 touchdowns.
And we're only at week 1,000 yards.
Tyreek Hill did get 1,000 yards. Christian McCaffrey, I gotta get his total stats.
Receiving and rushing.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll pull these up.
I will say though, the Niners 3 weeks ago, like the and possibly a Super even there, even pretty quick.
Christian McCaffrey has 652 yards rushing, 292 yards receiving. So, what is that? That's like a little over 900 yards.
But he has 13 touchdowns already.
But they've lost 3 games.
It's not his fault.
If he's going to be the MVP.
Okay, but if he keeps this up, if he scores, let's say he gets 25 touchdowns, which is in the realm at the rate they're going. No
If
quarterback is
they
like
lose, if they end up losing a couple more games, if not more, he's just not going to beat a quarterback. If the Dolphins end up going like 13-4 or 14-3, and Tua has like 30 plus touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions, he's probably going to win MVP.
I just think if Tua gets like 35 touchdowns and Christian McCaffrey gets 25 as a running back, like what else is a skill position player gonna do?
And you hate McCaffrey saying this, hate him, but
I don't hate him. I just
you're playing against him and you really hated him that week.
yeah.
I've seen other
like,
running backs
you
have
go back.
historic years and not won MVP.
Well, I know. That's what I was about to say. Like Chris Johnson set the single season scrimmage record, and I think he had 18 touchdowns, and I think he got like one vote. Got blown up by
Yeah,
Peyton
because the
Manning.
Titans' record sucked.
Okay, and then like Adrian Peterson got it on like a 9-win Vikings team that like snuck into the playoffs, but that was the story because he was coming off of an ACL injury that he healed from super fast, and everyone was
He had over 2,000 rushing
Okay,
yards.
I will admit that I'm biased because I'm not a 49ers fan. And I'll try to, if most valuable player doesn't mean, it's just, what does that most valuable player mean? Does the most valuable player mean that your team has to also win? Or does it just mean you're the most valuable team? I think the most valuable player needs to be the most valuable player on the best team.
Or only a winning team, at least. I don't know about the best team, because the best team
Yeah, that's true. Not
makes
the
it to the
best
Super
team,
Bowl.
but one of the best teams.
Yeah, we talked
know
about this last year when it came to MVP. Yeah, MVP needs to be the most. Like, the reason why they're winning is mainly because of this one player.
If Brock Purdy continues to struggle and their defense is okay, and Christian McCaffrey still goes off and they still win some games and get into the playoffs, which I'm not saying their season's done at all. They're still one of the best teams in the league. They just, I don't know, they had a 3-game losing streak. I don't know. Then yes, I'll say he should be in the MVP discussion.
Or look at Cooper Kupp, won the Triple Crown, put up great numbers. Snubbed.
Yeah, because they didn't make the playoffs that year.
Yeah, they did. They went to the Super Bowl that year and won it.
Sorry.
So even more to our point,
it's a quarterback league.
Yeah.
All right.
It just seems wrong.
We will see.
Maybe they should start.
I've just seen them like hand the award to like Brett Favre and Peyton Manning when they had like not even great years, and they're like, just give it to them.
More so, I mean, Tom Brady.
Yeah, he won a few by default. But yeah. Anything else you all want to add today?
You want to do like a quick preview of the last games?
Yeah, that would probably make sense.
We don't have to talk about them in length, but just speak on them.
I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked by the MVP.
It's all right. Let's just acknowledge the last two games.
All right. Sunday night kickoff. Actually, probably starting now. We have the Chicago Bears going to play to take on the Chargers. Chicago.
The thing is that the Bears can win this game, even though the LA's at -9.5.
No interest in this game.
I don't think there's a way the Bears win this.
You don't think the Charger can Charger at 2-4?
I think the Chargers can Charger, but I'm taking Taylor. This is another West Side bonus lock. The Chargers are going to cover the 9.5 points today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They will not cover the spread.
I'm going to go 4 for 4 with the bonus pick. Chargers cover 9.5. Tyson Bagent was a good story, but
oh yeah, I forgot that Justin Fields isn't playing still.
see, that's why you're not like me with my picks. You gotta be cerebral. You gotta know all the information.
Super serial.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game. I mean,
I'm rooting for Ben.
Dante Foreman's not not dragging the
Beignet.
Bears to win today.
Beignet, whatever.
No,
Bidet,
we
wash
were
your booty.
talking about it on the other show. What is how do you
I think
pronounce
it's, I think it's Badgett.
Badgett.
Baguette.
No, Badgett.
I love me a nice
His
French
His
baguette.
his dad's one of the all-time great arm wrestlers.
It means he's going to sling the ball, and it means that the spread will be covered
So we pick things up and put them down.
by the Bears.
We'll see. Yes, Charger. I don't think they Charger this one.
Another battle of the crap quarterback.
Butt. Battle of the butt.
coaches.
Yeah. I mean, if the Chargers lose this one, their season is over, and Staley needs to be fired
Immediately. But
don't
Josh
even get
McDaniels is still worse.
Don't even let him get to the presser. Just meet him in the tunnel and be like, "Hey, you're fired.
You're fired.
You're fired."
He can't see because of the light, and he just sees a figure walking up to him. You're fired.
Eerie.
Oh.
And when he's walking the tunnel after the loss, he hears the Vince McMahon music playing.
I would love that for Justin Herbert.
But yeah, so that unfortunately will probably be a boring game tonight. And then tomorrow, Monday Night Football. If I can get this to load. Bear with me.
Raiders at the Lions.
Okay, thank you for chiming in. Raiders at the Lions. Lions are 7.5-point favorites. This is going to be their revenge game, coming off that beatdown by the Ravens. I'm waiting any day now to hear that the Raiders have had a complete mutiny and they've locked Josh McDaniels out of the stadium. And the players are going to call their own game.
This would be my lock of the week, but I already picked one.
It's ballsy going off the Raiders, but I like it. We'll see how it goes.
I think the
No,
Lions,
not for the Raiders, the Lions.
I know.
Lions are gonna bounce back after that rough loss to the Ravens.
No, yeah, I think the Lions get after it. I think they're going to destroy the Raiders.
But though he's been having a good year, minus the Raiders.
Who?
Max Crosby.
Well, yeah, he's a dog. But I think with this Raiders team, like, respect the box, have a second pair of eyes, look at Devontae Adams. Jimmy G's doesn't scare anyone, and like,
Jimmy too.
yeah. But I just think with this Raiders team, if you put up 20, it's a win.
I'm with you.
Well, they lost to the Bills by 28. They lost to the Steelers 23-18. They lost to the Chargers 24-17. They beat the Packers 17-13. And they beat the Patriots 21-17. So, yes, score more than 20. You should have a good chance.
Pretty good.
Calls it like I sees it. But yeah, not the most inspiring games. Hopefully you got your fix in earlier. Titans game was cool watching Will Levis. Philly Washington was nice back and forth. If you hate the Chiefs, that was a good one to watch. Trying to think if there's any other decent ones worth watching today.
Jonathan Gannon said that Kyler Murray will be at least another week.
We'll see. When he plays, he plays. I really think it's in his best interest to play.
That was Davis and Dolph Lundgren. If he plays, he plays.
If he plays, he plays.
If he plays, he plays.
All right. Anything else, boys?
Nope. Another weekend of football. It's crazy that it's already week 8 and almost wrapping up week 8, actually.
Yeah, week 9's coming up.
My football season's done. Both my teams are done, so I can finally relax.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were talking about the Titans for a second. I was like, well,
No.
put a nail on them.
But yeah, we that'll do it for today. So that does it for the show. This is No Interference. This is our Week 8 coverage. We are your host, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like the show, like, subscribe, share, drop a comment. Follow us on social media at DNI Show on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks again for all the support. That does it for today. So adios.
See you.
Peace.